Welcome to Reading on Headlines, where I read the tarot on news headlines. This is the place where tarot meets progressive politics. I offer insights on the mess that is politics and media. And I do interviews with tarot readers who share our passion for leftist ideals and social justice. On this episode, I'm covering the House Speaker chaos in the US. I'm going to take a look at Germany because they have some regional elections coming up, and we're going to look into that. Biden is now doing the Texas border wall. I thought that was Trump's thing, but I'm going to look into that. And then at the end, we want to have a little bit of lighthearted content, and we're going to look at Taylor Swift. So we're going to do some more fun things in the meantime, or in between the things. I have some segments that I'm wanting to do. Let's start with the House Speaker chaos. So here we go. This is the headline, the article. This is House Speaker chaos. What is going on? So what is going on is that Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker of the House since January, which is funny because it took him 15 rounds of voting before he got even he got the seat, he got the role. And now on October 3rd, a small minority of his own party, which only have a narrow majority, only 8 Republicans voted to remove him. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more to that than what it says here. And those 8 people came from the ultra conservative, like the far right Freedom Caucus. And they were angry that McCarthy cut a deal with Democrats to avert a partial government shutdown. What? You wanted a government shutdown? That's absolutely ridiculous. Why didn't any Democrats help McCarthy? I heard Hassan Piker talk about this. It was really funny. It basically came down. What he said was that McCarthy really thought that the Democrats would support him, even though he has done nothing in support of the Democrats, only because McCarthy is like a moderate Republican. He thought, well, I'm a moderate Republican, but he's acting like he isn't. Like his policy, everything that he's been doing as Speaker of the House wasn't necessarily as a moderate Republican. So for the Democrats, it doesn't really matter that there's a moderate Republican as a Speaker of the House right now. Yeah, many Democrats felt like they didn't owe him anything, even if a future GOP speaker could be more conservative than McCarthy. Yeah. So what I want to do, I want to take the cards and we're going to do a little check-in with Kevin first, okay? There's ethics when it comes to tarot. Don't do third-party readings. I think that is true when it comes to private people. But here, these are public figures, these are politicians. I think they are open to read on, like they're open to write on. Like you're not going to write about the inner private lives of private citizens, but you're going to talk and write about these politicians. So that's my ethics thing when it comes to reading on politicians. Let's take a look. What is going on with Kevin McCarthy? I'm dropping a lot of cards. This is so funny. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now. We have both the Sun card and the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is a card of pain. Like, oof, this is a little bit more painful than he thought it was gonna be. But we also have the Sun card, which is like, eh, I like it's it's almost as if he is thinking like, I wanted to be Speaker of the House. It hurts a little bit. It hurts his ego, but ultimately he's getting over it. Like I thought he was gonna be more butthurt. I think he's a little butthurt, because of the Three of Swords. Because it's like, oof. It almost comes back to how much it hurt, like how much it hurt his ego that it took 15 votes for him to get to even be Speaker of the House, because the Three of Swords talks about old pains, like familiar old pain. So I think what he's doing now is he's sort of processing what um, like how much it sort of hurt him, but in a more in a petty way than in a very personal, hurtful kind of way. It doesn't really read like that. And then with the Sun card, I feel like he has more opportunities to do something in politics, maybe elsewhere. Maybe Speaker of the House was a little too high for him in his own mind, too. Like, not just me saying he wasn't good enough to be Speaker of the House. I honestly don't really know. But I feel like wants he's looking for, and he feels like there are going to be more opportunities opening up for him elsewhere that feel more authentic and more fitting for him. So that's what I got on McCarthy. Now let's take a look at what we can expect from, what was his name? Let me see. The new Speaker of the House. He's only temporary. What was his name? I found it. Patrick McHenry. So, what can we expect from Patrick McHenry? Like, he's not going to be able to do much, I think, as a temporary Speaker of the House. But let's take a look at what his energy is. We have the Fool, and we have Seven of Pentacles. Let me actually get the cards from the floor here. We're gonna look at those in a second because I don't know. I feel like I dropped them for a reason. That's how tarot works, isn't it? So we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is about having put the work in and waiting for the results to reap. You can see here they have already made a lot of money and they are reaping the rewards now by shopping. That's what you can see happening here. And then the Fool is about being inexperienced, being new, starting a new journey. So maybe even for Patrick McHenry, he can use this temporary job. Like, this is not something that he takes like super seriously as Speaker of the House role, but he does seem to be taking it more seriously, as in, again, as what he can do next. It's interesting because the Seven of Pentacles, having put in the effort before and now reaping the rewards, I don't know if does Patrick McHenry. I know absolutely nothing of him. Patrick McHenry. I'm Googling him right now to see, does he have any connections with the Freedom Caucus? And is that the reason that he is in this position? I have absolutely no idea. He is a member of the Republican Party, formerly a member of North Carolina House of Representative. So he is definitely he definitely has done, like, has been high up in politics, I guess. Interesting. So I don't know if he necessarily needs this to grow like further caucus memberships, but Republican Study Committee and a 911 caucus. Okay. So I'm not really finding everything with him with the Freedom Caucus, no. But his energy doesn't really seem to be like very major. I don't really think there's a lot going on with Patrick McHenry necessarily. He's inexperienced for this specific role. He's gonna use it as a jumping off point for the rest of his career. I'm not really sure there, but it's interesting to see. Okay, let's take a look at the cards that fell on the floor, because I think this sums up like what's going on in the house, plus what we can expect from here on out. We have three major arcana cards. We have Death, which is transformation, something new. Duh. We're going to get a new Speaker of the House. I don't know how bad that is going to be, or how much of a transformation it's going to be, because the Death card, it's a pretty hefty metaphor for change. It's death. It's like the ending of something huge, but also to make way for something new. And the other two cards that I got are the Hierophant in reverse. And the Hierophant to me is a card of tradition, but it's in reverse. So it's either holding on a little bit too much or a lot too much to tradition. But in this case, I actually think it's going to be the opposite. So letting go a little bit of tradition. So I don't know who the next Speaker of the House is going to be, but it's not going to be someone who does politics in a very traditional way. So even if they're from the Republican Party, doesn't mean that they're going to be another moderate one. Even a very conservative Republican who has very traditional values can still do politics in a very non-traditional way. So I think that and everything that's been going on with the House, with the 15 votes that it took to get Kevin McCarthy into the House as Speaker, to what is happening right now, it's all very non-traditional. And politics overall, it feels, I don't know, it's feeling very sticky. How it's all been done, but that's a topic for another day, I think. And then I also have the world card, which is a card of which is a card of cycles. Again, something ending and going into something new, making space for something new. So I'm not saying that what we are seeing right now is gonna happen again. So with a new speaker, that it's gonna take a long time or a lot of votes at least to get them as a Speaker of the House, and then for the same thing to happen again. But there's gonna be some similarities to to what has happened with Kevin McCarthy with the next Speaker of the House. We're gonna see some similarities there, which are going to be interesting to take a look at, I think. Is there anything else that we need to know about this Speaker of the House chaos? As people, here we have the devil knowing that politics is all fucking toxic. We have a chariot. Things will get moving again. I don't know if it's going to take a long time. With the chariot card, I would say that it's not going to take a long time to find a new Speaker of the House, because the chariot is about moving forward. And I don't think it really benefits anybody to not have a Speaker of the House and to not be able to do the votes and to get stuff done. I think everybody benefits from moving forward, but because we also have the devil here, the toxic politics of, in this case, the Republican Party of the Freedom Caucus, they their toxic politics are going to try to prevent moving forward, but I don't think they're going to be successful. They're going to try and delay things as much as possible, but I don't think they're going to be that successful, at least in this. But I want to say in general, but I'm going to say at least in this. Okay, so that was the first headline that we did the reading on, the House Speaker chaos. Let me know your thoughts on what is going on with the House Speaker chaos in the US. Are you from the US? Before we get into the next topic, actually, I want to do a bit of a plug, because this podcast is not sponsored, but I want to do a little bit of a plug for something that I'm going to do very soon. On October 19th, I'm hosting the Confident Tarot Reader, which is a live workshop in which I teach my two-step system to confidently and accurately read the tarot without relying on the guidebook. It's going to be an interactive workshop, and you're going to read the cards during it. So bring your deck. Besides the workshop that will help you read the tarot and do meaningful and insightful readings for yourself and others, you'll also get the deck buying guide to purchase your first or your next tarot deck without getting overwhelmed with all the options. You're also going to get worksheets so you can master the information in the workshop and actually put it into practice during it and for your future tarot readings. And you'll also be getting the recording of the workshop so you can rewatch it at any time, even if you can't make it to the live workshop. Go to tarotwithruby.com/TCTR, which is short for the Confident Tarot Reader, or click the link in the show notes to book your spot for October 19th. And I look forward to seeing you there. Now, the next part, we're going to take a look at a I want to say, I want to call it a fun fact, but it's not really necessarily fun, but it's going to be interesting for the next topic that we're going to look at. So this is the Wikipedia page. I found this to be the most easy to look at. This is one of the political parties in Germany, AfD, which is short for Alternative für Deutschland, I think, Alternative for Germany. And it's a right-wing populist political party in Germany. And AFD is known for its Euroscepticism, which is like criticism of the European Union. They're opposing immigration to Germany, the typical right wing party stuff. AFD is commonly positioned on the radical right, which is a subset of the far right. This sounds familiar. Like, didn't we have in Germany, or I'm not from Germany, but wasn't there another populist party in Germany? I don't know, like 70, almost 80 years ago. I don't know. Sounds familiar to me. And I know I have some German viewers. Maybe they're also going to listen to the podcast. And I can just hear them sighing at me mentioning this political party. We have a political party like that in the Netherlands as well. And if anybody mentions that party, I'll sigh too. So I get it. I get it. But I wanted to take a look at that so we know what this party is about, because the next headline is going to be about Germany. Germany's shifting political landscape put to the test in key state votes. So the German states of Bavaria and Hesse vote in regional elections on Sunday in what is widely being seen as a test case for Germany's shifting political landscape. I talked about this when I did my political live streams before I started this podcast. And we would talk about how we see politics in Europe, just separately from America or the US at least. But we are seeing, or have been seeing, a shift more to the right in Europe. And it's not necessarily everywhere, but we saw it in Italy, we saw it in France. I've been seeing it a lot in the Netherlands as well. Although it's hard when you're in your own country and you have your own belief system and you have all the people around you who are probably, hopefully, have a similar belief system. So, and the people I follow online all also have a similar belief system. I don't think I'm necessarily in an echo chamber, but it's always surprising when I I have these values. And I feel like everybody has these values, obviously. And then we go into the real world. I'm like, oh, fuck. There are these radical right political parties that are kind of dangerous. And people are fucking voting for them. So I know how my German friends are feeling. I feel for you. And I wanted to do this reading because if we're going to see this shift happening in Germany, you can count on it that we're going to see the same shift elsewhere, because we already saw it in Italy, we already saw it in France. So I want to take a look at what AFD is going to do in both of these states, like how it's gonna do. It says here in the headline, the far right AFD is set to make gains in both states, although most other major parties have ruled out collaboration with it. But let's take a look at what we can expect from AFD during the elections. We have the Ace of Pentacles, Strength, Nine of Cups, and the Emperor. The Ace of Pentacles is about money, opportunities for money. So they are backed by some corporations or organizations that have a lot of money and that uh, stand a lot to gain from AFD winning elections or getting pretty big. We have a similar party to that here in the Netherlands as well, different from the one that I just mentioned. But that one is more, the one in the Netherlands that I mean is BBB, which is for farmers. And a lot of major farming corporations stand to gain if BBB makes it big in the elections. And I feel like the AFD is not the same as the BBB, but there's something to be seen here with money. I don't know what the economic policies are of AFD. We didn't really get into like the policy and the exact politics of AFD. But I wonder what their economic policies are and if that is something that they could win big on. Because I feel like a lot of people are economically more right wing, but on socialist issues, they're a little bit more moderate to left. I'm talking about voters, not the AFD. So it would be interesting to see if AFD can make it big or can win a lot of votes in the elections because of their economic policies. With strength here, you can see taming the beast. Taming the beast. And I wonder if the AFD is the beast that needs taming or if they are going to be the tamers and they are going to be able to really attract to voters, mostly with their economic policies. And we already read that they're very against immigration, and a lot of immigration arguments or anti-immigration arguments are about economics. So I think that is going to be a way that they're going to get in a lot of voters. Next, we also have Nine of Cups and the Emperor. So again, Emperor, I feel like something having to do with corporations, with ruling. We already saw that like pretty much all other political parties in Germany have said that they will not collaborate with AFD. But if AFD gets enough votes, then they kind of have to, I guess. We see the same. I'm pretty sure Germany has a similar political structure as the Netherlands. So I'm kind of familiar with that. So if they get big enough, they kind of have to, because you don't want the AFD running it all by themselves. And again, with the Emperor here, I'm not saying that they like I'm not I'm not comparing the AFD to a dictatorship. I'm not saying that the AFD wants a dictatorship, but I'm getting dictatorship vibes from the AFD, from the Emperor card. The Emperor doesn't mean dictatorship, but it's the vibes that I'm getting from the card, okay? And then we also have the Nine of Cups, which is about emotions. And I think people are gonna be swayed. Like when you talk about economic policy, people feel very emotionally connected to their money. So if they talk about economic policy and they are going to try to win big on that, they're going to try to tug at people's heartstring or emotions by sort of painting this picture of what their lives like would look alternatively if there were more immigration laws and limits, I guess. I don't really know how to explain that, but I hope it comes across the way that I'm sort of thinking it, I'm sort of feeling it. Like I still think the economic policy is going to be the biggest thing for the AFD, and they're going to win a lot of people with that because people feel very emotionally attached to their money. So, oof, that is what I'm seeing here for AFD. Now, for my friends in Germany, I want to get a I want to get a message as well. So let's take a look at for our friends in Germany regarding whatever the election result is. What is your advice? Fuck, sorry, you guys. I didn't make this up. So to my German friends, we have the Five of Wands and we have the Tower. The Five of Wands is my card of conflict. And the tower is destruction. Now, there are lessons to be learned with this. The tower is not just destruction, but if you have a very solid foundation to your tower, then the destruction will be easy to build up. So, right now, there are a lot of structures in place in Germany to not let another Hitler happen again, right? So even if AFD were to come into power or get more votes, because Hitler's party wasn't even like in complete power, he just took power. But if the foundational laws, if the foundations are in place correctly, then you won't have to worry about another Hitler happening. However, that all it all will result into some sort of a conflict, whether that is AFD winning a lot of votes or not winning a lot of votes. There will be a lot of conflict. I've seen it happen here in the Netherlands too, with our like AFD like party. So yeah, there will always be conflict between right and left and everything in between. And it sucks. And politics sometimes kind of sucks. And the rise of right wing parties is scary and it sucks. Okay, now we're gonna do one last topic, which I am personally confused by. So we're gonna get into the article itself. It says here Biden attacked from both sides over new Texas border wall. Because I thought that the Texas wall, the border, was Trump's thing. But let's get into it. President Joe Biden is under fire from both Republicans and Democrats after his administration announced new border wall construction in Texas. Biden has said that he has had no choice because the funding was signed off while Donald Trump was president. Well, fuck. Members of his Democratic Party said walls did not work, while rival Republicans accused him of hypocrisy. So, yeah, there will be 20 miles of barriers built um, along the Rio Grande Valley. Because, yeah, I remember while campaigning for president in 2020, Mr. Biden promised that he would not build another foot of wall if elected. He said it was not a serious policy solution. So let's take a look. If Biden, like, what is going on here? Could Biden have prevented this or not? It says here, try to get them to redirect that money. They didn't, they wouldn't. I can't stop that. Let's see if he really couldn't stop that or if he just doesn't really care. He's been busy doing other things. Maybe he forgot. I don't know. I don't know. He is kind of age, you know. Things can slip your mind if you're old. So let's take a look at what really happened here with Biden and the wall. Page of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Hanged Man, Six of Pentacles, Fool, Ace of Wands. Let's take a look. We got a shitload of cards here. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles, which is goal-oriented, and Nine of Swords. I think he tried, yeah. I think he did try, but with the Hanged Man here, okay, so the Hanged Man, it can mean a couple of things, and I have to look at the other cards for this as well, because the Hanged Man is a card of pause. So this could mean that he did try, but he tried too late, or maybe he found out about the information a little bit too late. We have the Nine of Swords, which is about feeling very mentally burdened with it, feeling very anxious about it. So I do think that he cares, and I think that he tried, but either information came to him too late that this was something that he couldn't do anything about. And if he had known this earlier, then maybe he could have done something about it. Or yeah, it was just too late in general. The Hanged Man is also about it usually is about intentional pause. So that's why I'm a little bit confused, because with the Page of Pentacles, we have this goal that he set. We have the Nine of Swords, being anxious, so really thinking about it. But we also have the Six of Pentacles, which is giving and taking. So I don't know if this is part of a deal that Biden had to make with the Republicans to get some of his other policies in, that is like sort of happening behind closed doors. That like, yeah, he wasn't gonna do anything. He had like an intentional pause. He wasn't gonna look at the wall being built until there was literally nothing that he could do in exchange for something that Biden really wanted to implement. I'm not really sure. But we also have the Fool again, which we also saw with Kevin McCarthy? No, the Patrick McHenry in the earlier reading, where I'm not saying that Biden is inexperienced, but I think that we need we need something with more energy, someone with more energy. With the Ace of Wands here, we need someone with a little bit more spark. Like I do think that Biden cares, but I don't think that he has what it takes to do the things that he was voted into office for, that he campaigned for. He doesn't really have the energy because he's old. Like, how come we have like ages for retirement, but like half of the US government is all in retirement age? Like, that's so I have no words. I feel like it's irresponsible, honestly. So that is sort of what I'm getting here with Biden, with this wall. Let's see what is going to happen next. What can we expect next from this wall? The Chariot, it's going to fucking happen. That's absolutely wild. The devil, we have the toxicness again that I talked about with the potentially deals behind closed doors. Yeah, I don't really have any other words. So what I want to do now is we're gonna get into a little pop culture moment, okay? I have a um I have a headline for, let's see, Taylor Swift's relationship with Travis Kelsey feels on top of the world amidst Taylor Swift romance. There was this whole joke that Taylor Swift is really putting Travis on the map, even though Travis within his sports field is like really, really big. But the funny thing is, like, yeah, sure, he probably is. But as someone who lives abroad and is not really interested in sports, I have heard of Taylor Swift, never heard of this guy before. And I know that a lot of people will have the same thoughts. So what I wanted to do here for Taylor Swift is a little love tarot reading, a little relationship tarot reading. So again, when it comes to ethics, I'm fine with doing relationship readings for celebrities because they are public people, they're not private citizens. So I think it's a little bit different. So let's take a look at Taylor Swift versus Travis. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so we're just gonna do Travis. So Taylor Swift is gonna be here. That's Seven of Wands. Then we have Travis Kelsey, or Travis. We have Seven of Cups, and a connection between them. Let's take a look. The connection between them. We have the Ten of Wands. Ooh. Okay, so Taylor Swift comes up as the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is defending your boundaries. Like, I think part of this, defending your boundaries and defending your choices and having to take the higher ground, really has to do with the fact that Taylor Swift is known for kind of dating around. And I don't think that anybody should really care because it's her life, it's her love life, it's her body. She can do whatever she wants. But people always have opinions and people will always say things about women who date around. Are they going to say the same things about men dating around? Probably not. A lot of misogyny there. Again, topic for another day. But I think that a lot of this comes down to Taylor Swift having to defend her choices of being with another person, because who was the last person that she was dating before Travis? It was someone that people found to be very problematic, wasn't it? Or was it this guy as well? I have no idea. I don't know this guy. Travis is coming up as the Seven of Cups. He's just like on cloud nine, okay? He's on cloud nine that he's dating Taylor fucking Swift. There's a lot of, for Travis, there are a lot of emotions involved, and for Taylor, there are a lot of sparks involved, which is funny, sparks fly. And then for the connection between them, they have the Ten of Wands. So maybe right now, because the relationship is all new, it's all going to be super fun, but they both carry a lot. Both being pretty famous, pretty famous. That's going to carry a lot. And then being constantly photographed, single thing they do. I think this relationship, I'm not saying that it's not going to last. We're going to take a look, but it's going to be more burdensome than maybe they are thinking right now. So let's take a look further in the relationship. Ooh, I got a couple of cards. We have the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is like a business relationship. I do think that Travis feels very emotionally connected, or is at least like on cloud nine that he's publicly dating Taylor Swift. With the Five of Swords here and the, what was it? And the Seven of Swords. The Five of Swords, what you can see here, is someone winning everything and someone else sort of losing out, which is interesting to see in a relationship dynamic where one person is sort of gaining it all and the other sort of left behind. So this could either be Travis like how people were saying, like it making Travis's career because he's dating Taylor Swift and everybody knows Taylor Swift and he's like taking it all in and Taylor is like, what am I getting out of it? Business wise. Business wise. I'm not reading a whole lot of emotions for Taylor. I'm not saying that she doesn't like him. I'm just not seeing a whole lot of emotions here on Taylor's side. Then we also have the Seven of Swords, which is about taking more than you need. So this is like a conflict that is leaning sort of one way, or a connection that's sort of leaning one way. And this is just taking more than you need. So maybe you are taking something that is yours, but you're taking it back, but you're taking too much. It's sort of unfair in that way. So it's more like thievery, sneakery in that way. It's not reading very romantically, to be very honest. It's not reading very romantically. Let's take a look. It's all going very quickly, going with the momentum of like the start of dating. Then we have the Empress. I'm not someone who likes to predict pregnancies. I'm not saying that, but this is like motherly, like caring energy. So it could be that, or it could be someone in either Travis's or Taylor's surroundings having that very motherly energy, or Taylor maybe even having that motherly energy towards Travis. The thing is, when you do readings or when I do readings on third parties, I always set the intention beforehand that I'm only allowed to pick up what I'm allowed to pick up, what I'm allowed to know, what I'm allowed to share. And this all feels very vague. Like, I usually have a way more on point idea of what this means when I'm reading on people. But right now it feels very vague. So I'm gonna see if I can get some more cards. But honestly, I'm not sure if we really are allowed to know. Alas, there's a lot of wands here, a lot of swords. So what that says to me is wands is about passion and fire and getting things done. And swords are about your mental capability, your thoughts, mental capacity, that stuff. And we have the Fool. This really could go anyway. The Fool is about new beginnings. It can be, like I said, when it talks about a specific person, we can see that someone is maybe immature. But here it's about the relationship. And when we see the Fool for a relationship, or when I see the Fool for a relationship, it's like the start of something new. It could go either way, which is kind of what we read because it was so vague. It can go either way. It can go, the ball keeps rolling, and we see a lot of mothering energy going on here, which can literally be like they're getting a pet together. It doesn't have to be a child. We also have the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, which really gave me the idea of something like unfairness going on, business deals, not very romantic. So it could literally go either way, which, sorry, that is all that I'm allowed to pick up. So what I want you to do next, because the next segment that I want to do is a community card pool. So a question to the question that I'm going to ask, that we are all going to pull a card for, and if you want to, you can send a picture or a short video or maybe even audio message to me with your card pool and your interpretation. So we're just going to take a look at Taylor Swift. You can do your own card pool if you want. You can do a spread, or you can just do a card pool. We're going to take a look at Taylor Swift. If you want, we can take a look at Taylor Swift's relationship. If there's anything else related to Taylor Swift that you want to do a reading on, you can pull a card. Again, would love it if you could send me a voice message. You can do that through Spotify, through the Q&A section. You can also send me a picture on Instagram Instagram at Reading on Headlines. In next episodes, I might do a chart reading, an astrology chart reading of someone. I already know someone who I want to do a chart reading for, but I want to be a little bit more prepared than I was for today. I hope you enjoyed this week's headlines. If you want to request a headline for next week, you can do that on Instagram. You can shoot me an email, mail@readingonheadlines.com. You can submit a listener voicemail or question in the Q&A in Spotify. And don't forget to check out tarotwithruby.com/TCTR to sign up for the live workshop to learn how to read the tarot. Thanks so much for listening. Stay sane, stay safe, and do some self-care today.